Hello everybody, welcome to King Kaiju yet again, and today we're going to be reviewing another figure. This figure that we're going to be reviewing is another recent figure, not as recent as the Majungasaurus, but still pretty recent. It's the Siats Meekeroreum. The Siats Meekeroreum was a figure that we were kind of teased about a little bit. We didn't get that much information on it, but when we first saw the pictures, it was a very, very mixed reaction. Some people thought it looked a bit too cartoony, some people thought it looked awesome. I myself was for the one that I thought it looked pretty cool. And now that I have it in hand, I can say that that still holds up pretty well. So I'm going to do this like I do every review. I'm going to start out with detail. And the detail on this figure is pretty good. If we look at its face, it has lots of nice scales that you can see. And if we look under the mouth, this is specifically where I think the most detail is shown. Now, it's very, very hard to see because my camera is absolute ass. There we go. But you can see a lot of the scaling that's put in, as well as that you can see the mouth. I don't know if my camera will pick this up or not, but the tongue is very well detailed. It's not going to show that. My camera's, like I said, absolute ass, but we're not going to talk about that. Anyway, point is, very, very nice detailed figure. If we look along the legs and such, you can see that detail kind of continues. These little things right here are rubber, so you don't have to worry about them too much. These teeth, however, at least the top ones, these are actually plastic and they are decently sharp, so I wouldn't like push into it very, very hard. It will leave a mark, definitely. Detail continues throughout the body into the tail, and it actually has paint that runs along the tail, which is very, very nice. One small detail I think they could have gotten better is these arms are incredibly short. Like, proportionally to the body, they are not the longest at all. I remember when I saw the figure, I thought that they looked a lot longer, but now that I actually have it in hand, these are some very, very tiny arms indeed. As well as that, the claws aren't painted, but that's just how Mattel does things. The toes are, but only like halfway. And there's the scan code. If I can get that to focus, there you go. There's the scan code if you need it. So yeah, very, very nice figure. Very nice. I would definitely recommend the detail of it. It has some very, very astonishing detail. It has very, very nice paint for the most part. Nothing really is too terrible except for maybe this, but that is okay in my opinion. It's actually better than most figures. We'll do a comparison later on to show you what I mean, but yeah, overall, very, very nice. For articulation, this figure is pretty average when it comes to these larger scaled predators. The arms can rotate, both of them. They can go in and out as well, so that's 4. These legs are connected, so I'm going to count that as 1 point, although this one specifically can actually move this way, but it is incredibly tight, and it feels like it might break, so I'm not going to do that. The feet are also on a rotation joint, and speaking of which, I think a few people have had this problem, but there is like a slight opening in mine, and I hope that doesn't break later on, because I've had several issues in the past with rotating feet. My Bull Rex has quite a few cracks and breaks down there, so I hope that doesn't become a problem. But like I said, feet can articulate. I don't know why they still do this. It's very, very useless, and actually it's quite a problem in some figures, but you know, I guess for the articulation. So that's 4, 5 with these 2 legs, counting that, and 6 and 7 for this. And if you really want to count other things, the tail, 8, connected to the head, 9, jaw, 10, and if you really, really want to get really specific, 11 for the button. But those are more for the action feature, which is, as all of these, you just grab the tail, rotate it, and just thrash this guy around. He has a nice biting action feature when you press down the tail. If you essentially just have the Tarbosaurus, it's just that really. Just on a slightly shorter scale. And we'll see what I mean in a second. Also, another kind of little nitpick. When you do this, you can hear it makes a slight bit of a sound, but that is actually a lot less significant than what it was making before. I actually ran this under some water, and it's now a lot less squeaky, but essentially, when I would move this before, it was very, very squeaky. And as well as that, if you close the mouth and rotate it, listen to this. Can you hear the crackling noise? Yeah, I don't know what that is. I might use that as like a bone-breaking sound effect if I ever use this in a series, though. Spoiler alert, I am. But, yeah, articulation's pretty average for the figure, and it has one hell of an action feature. So now we are on to the sizing category. I want to put him next to a few of his primal attack pals. So first off, we have the Sarcosuchus. And as you can see, this guy is slightly taller, but when you put it like lengthwise, the Sarcosuchus is significantly longer when it comes to this. When you put it like this is like a rough estimate, but you can see the tail goes off screen, but the jaw is about right the same, but the tail is a bit longer. So yeah, this guy is longer, but much shorter. So that is about how big it is next to Sarco. And moving on, here it is next to the Tarbosaurus. Let me put him back down to where he is. So you might think that this guy is actually quite short of a figure, but this is about how tall the Tarbosaurus can go. And this is, there's something behind it. So this is like a, alright, there we go. So yeah, the Siats is actually quite tall when you raise him up on his back legs. But, like, normal position, oop, there goes a nail, but we're not gonna worry about that. When you, like, he is quite short looking down, average sized. Next up for scaling, we're gonna get a slightly smaller figure. This is the Edmontosaurus. And we might do a review of this guy. I don't know. If you guys want a review of the Edmontosaurus, leave it in the comment section down below. But this is how big the Siats is next to the Edmontosaurus. And you can get these guys in like some pretty cool fights, you know. I can imagine kids would probably be having a lot of fun with this. You know, just to taking down prey or something. So yeah, very nice when it comes to the Edmontosaurus. Not really accurate though. Edmontosaurus was a pretty big dinosaur. Next to another sound strike that I actually very recently reviewed, the Majungasaurus. If you can stand, yeah. Like I said, the Majungasaurus is quite a small statured Mattel figure. And even next to a decently short, massive biter, it still is quite small. But that is just how the Majungasaurus is. And when you put them like this way, you can actually get a real feel of how small the Majungasaurus is. It is a very small statured figure. So we'll take him away and I'll compare him to one more figure, but it is not a primal attack. It's actually just a normal human figure. So let me put him back in his original position. Okay, there we go. Alan Grant. So there he is next to a human figure. And yeah, just like a typical human figure. And actually, I'm not sure exactly how big Siats Meekeroreum was. I know it was quite a large dinosaur, about the size of T-Rex, if not a little bit smaller. But yeah, I'm pretty sure this was, not like lengthwise, but probably height-wise, this was a lot of accuracy. Very accurate when it comes to height, probably. Don't quote me on that. I'm not one for rating accuracy on the Mattel series, but yeah, this is the size comparison for this figure. So overall, what are my thoughts on this figure? I think it is a very nice figure indeed. I think it is probably one of the best massive biters It is not my favorite though. My favorite is definitely the Tarbosaurus. Probably one of my favorite Mattel figures actually. But anyway, that's aside from the point. Anyway, this is a very, very nice figure. In my opinion, it is the best detailed. Definitely, it actually outrivals much of the detail on other figures. The Tarbosaurus, don't get me wrong, has quite a lot of detail, and the Sarcosuchus in its own right does as well. But this Siats is just overloaded with it. It also has these quillish, like, feathers, I guess you can call them feathers, which is also very, very nice. As well as that, to anyone who doesn't know, this is actually based off of a Indominus Rex concept design. I'll throw a picture of it up. But yeah, it looks very, very similar to that, and it is most likely where they got the inspiration for it. In fact, if you actually look at the figure, it looks a lot like the Indominus Rex. In fact, one second. Let us compare it to the biggest of figures, the Indominus Rex. So this is how large they are next to each other, and as you can see, Indominus Rex is so much larger. It's probably the biggest theropod they've ever released, but as you can see, when you put them kind of side by side, they have a few similarities. I'm going to take the Indominus Rex off screen now to just kind of show you though. From the front end, it has a very, very like wide head. It has a very, very massive head, and the Indominus Rex has a very similar head. The best way I can describe it is if you had an Abelosaurid head. For those of you unaware, Abelosaurids are Carnotaurus and Majungasaurus type dinosaurs. It has a very Abelosaurus type head, but it is stretched out, and this is how this guy's head. It is very wide, but at the same time, very, very large and long. It almost looks like a pug, just with a longer snout. That's how I like to think of this guy, the pug dinosaur. It's actually a little bit cartoony, and I will give people that. It has a cartoonish eye, but still the detail is not lacking in the slightest. In my opinion, I think it's a very, very nice dinosaur, and if you do see it, I do recommend picking it up. As to what I know at the moment, it's only available in, I think, Australia and the United States. I got mine at Target. Well, I actually got it on eBay, but the guy I got it from got it at Target, I'm pretty sure. But yeah. That is my review of the Siats Meekeroreum. If I was going to give it a score, I would say a 5 out of 5. There's not much wrong with the figure besides like a few minor details, but overall it's pretty good. There are a few figures I do slightly like more. Like for example, I'm very much digging this Majungasaurus at the moment, and like I said, Tarbosaurus is still my favorite. But that does not stray away from the fact that this is a very, very nice figure indeed. And if you do find it, I would recommend picking it up. It has nice detail, pretty good articulation, well actually pretty average, but that doesn't make it bad. And it also has an array of other things like callbacks to where it looks like the Indominus Rex, and other things that I think make it a very, very nice figure. It's a very, very nice predator and quite an unexpected dinosaur. I did not know what this kind of dinosaur was. So there's Mattel being a bit educational for the viewers. So thank you all for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Eyes on the New Blur episode 2 will probably be out next weekend, so you can look forward to that. I'm going to take a break off videos for now. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.